Now, let us start the event about L4M7 health check, where I write the questions and I would like to hear the answer from different students. The thing is, I know that many students um, are just shy away from this kind of event, but being shy from telling us, about from telling others how well you know about certain topic is not a good way to learn, honestly, right? When you say about when you want to learn, you need to be able to explain it. So you must be demonstrate that. Okay, that is a much better way to learn. Um, we are, yeah, I and my my coworker Jessica and I always want to help you, and we don't judge your answer. Just want to help you to grow. Okay, so we accept that for some certain topics in different modules, you may have some difficulties in understanding them. It's fine. It's a normal process in studying. And through this one, I just want to highlight what you need to know and what you need to learn and where to get that. Not just about us judging your own knowledge about Form 7 or any other module, but just want to highlight your weakness and how you can learn for this module. So I hope that other students, when they watch this recording, they don't they won't be shy away from sharing, from joining, and demonstrate their knowledge here. Okay, no judging. I don't give you any score. You don't need to show it to your parents. Just you and me, right? Just you and me, and no judgment here. Just want to see how well you know about certain topic. Don't be shy. All right, and this one will be similar to the last one on FM6. I don't just show you what I know about this, but I want you to show how much you know about this. And this is about FM7. And considering the time we have, I know that, yeah, I also have some other business after this event. So I will make it as short as possible. And we only do 3 topics here, 3 specific topics from L4M7. And for each topic, I will raise a few questions, very broad question, open-ended question. And you will have 5 minutes to prepare. You may ask anything. You may go to Google, go to the study guide, or ask AI to help you answer this. But eventually, you need to answer that question. You need to tell me the answer. And for each topic, you have 5 minutes to prepare. And maybe in certain topics, I think it could be more difficult, then you may have longer, like 10 minutes instead of 5. This is done because I don't want just to use the multiple choice questions. If we just practice with multiple choice questions, you may practice with a lot of questions. But when you don't understand the key theme of that question, then when you write the exam, you may still make mistake and still possibly fail the exam as a result. The key to pass the exam is not just practicing with more questions, but to understand the key theme, the key knowledge from the study guide, right? So I want to check that. And I want to encourage students to study more proactively rather than just reacting to the questions or reacting to any possible topics in the exam. So this is our new chain of events where I want you to share what you know, right? Now, let's start with the first topic. This one is maybe a very small part of the study guide about the use of automation in warehouse. And in the exam, I see that there are a few questions. However, they are not very well explained in the study guide. So I would like to ask you first, please outline the key pieces of equipment in an automated warehouse. And second, identify the key considerations in designing such automated warehouse. When the time is over, my co-worker, Jessica, will randomly select a letter and then randomly call a person within this meeting to answer that. So at the time, I may allow that person to unmute and answer the question. Remember that we don't judge the question, but sorry, we don't judge the answer, but we just want to see how well you know about this and how I can help you get more knowledge or make this topic more understandable, more memorable for you. Okay, that's all. Now, here are the two questions, and I'm and I will start my time. I will start my timer. Okay, so the time is counting now. You have 5 minutes to prepare for these two questions. All right, so time's up. Jessica.
Okay. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Jessica. After running the random formula on Excel, the names that appear randomly is Doris. Doris, would you like to answer our questions?
Doris, you can unmute now.
Okay, for question one, outlining the key pieces of equipment in an automated warehouse.
Okay.
I will look at storage and retrieval equipment first,
Yeah.
which is like automated storage and retrieval systems. I will have bins and totes, shuttle systems to move stuff around automatically. I will also have vertical lift modules that can be used for storage and retrieval. And
Okay.
on the material handling, I'll have conveyor belts or conveyor systems that can be used, automated guided vehicles, AGVs, and robots, for picking and palletizing.
Yeah.
And maybe on the picking and packing, um, I will have automated packing and carton sealing systems and robotic palletizers and depalletizers, to put things on pallets and to take them off pallets. And
Yeah.
for storage and identification, I'll have barcodes, RFID systems, and things like that. And on the other side, on the second question, is identify the key considerations in designing the automated warehouse. I will think about the what our business is all about, the type of products we have, analyze and separated them, have SKUs, variety and sizes, have a profile for each item. And I will think about the layout and how the space will be utilized in the warehouse. Have different zones for different things, where goods will be received, where goods will be dispatched. And on the technology side, maybe I will also have something that has to do with picking, because it's the layout, to say where are the goods going to be picked, where will they come in, where will they go out. And I will also think of the software that will be used within the warehouse. I know a lot use the warehouse management systems. I don't know, maybe it's different types of systems. I haven't worked in a warehouse environment, so I'm not sure which type.
Okay.
Um, yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Doris. And I think that you have prepared very well about the answer. For the first part, you mentioned about a few pieces, like about the picking, retrieval, packaging, and
Yeah.
a few other systems, like tracking technologies like barcode and RFID. However, then I just want to ask a question. Already you have mentioned this, but in the first, yeah, okay. So my question is very clear. Here are the key pieces, not just the factors. I would like to add here. Sometimes we need to consider about the software as well, but the not a piece of equipment. Sorry, I already include that in my answer, but it is not a piece of equipment by definition. Piece of equipment is something that we need to touch on, right? That's something that has shape and we can touch. Software is no such system. And for the second, I think that you listed every possible considerations, but normally they are for general designing of warehouse, like about the types of items or about the way in, way out, or about flow and the frequency of use. All of them are about the designing warehouse. But I'm asking about what are the considerations? What are specific considerations when designing an automated warehouse? So you know that when we update the technology, then of course new technology is normally more expensive, right? And therefore, we need to consider about the costs, the benefits, and also other operational issues like about safety and how to integrate the current systems with the workflow that we already have. And normally, they don't just build a new automated warehouse, but a warehouse is continually updating with new technologies. So it is not about we build a new warehouse with a lot of cool tools and high tech. But we build warehouse first, and then we upgrade the system, we upgrade the equipment, and make them more integrated. So there are more consideration here, like we can update gradually, or we can build a totally new warehouse. But normally we often choose to update gradually. So that kind of consideration will be about like the cost, the benefits, about how we can integrate the new technology with the current workflow. Now, let me review the answer in details here. Thank you very much, Doris.
Thank you.
Now, first, let's look at the key, I think they are the key elements of an automated warehouse. First, we need to have something to track the inventory, that is the software. Okay, sorry, sometimes I confuse this and include them into a piece of equipment, but software is no equipment, as you know. Second, we need to something to track the inventory, and also this may have the robot and other tech to follow the inventory, follow the order. Okay, so we need to have tracking technologies like RFID and barcode. And third, really very important, in an automated warehouse, we have less involvement from manual labor and other workers. So we need to have something to pick and deliver the goods within the warehouse, pick and deliver the inventory within the warehouse. So we need to have the AGV, automated guided vehicle. When we invest in a warehouse like this, we may have the barcode or RFID, and preferably then RFID is more suitable for this kind of warehouse because we can install the reader, RFID reader, on the automated guided vehicle, and they can track the items when they are moving around the warehouse. So the guided vehicle here may we can send the order to them. They know that they need to pick these items and they need to locate those items in the warehouse, and then they go to that position, pick that, and deliver to the packaging or packing area. And within the packing area, if we have sufficient fund, we can invest in an automated packaging machine where it involves virtually no human operation, no human worker here. It can put everything within a box and tape them. Okay, so reduce the work span on here. And within a warehouse, sometimes we may have something on the rack, and using AGV could be quite intensive as well, especially when the warehouse is large. So we may have some automated conveyor. So they just move when there are some items on this, and they just deliver the items to the packaging area. The thing is, we all have the technologies to do all of these. However, the problem is about the cost and the return on investment. Whether such warehouse worth investment like this, although you know this, you know that automation may increase the productivity and reduce the labor required for the operations. However, automation has its cost. Therefore, not all warehouse works like this. Normally, we still have smaller warehouse with more manual labor with the workers running around, picking orders, packaging the order, instead of using the automation here. So with investment in technology, we have other considerations. Of course, we still consider about the size of the items, about the frequency of use, about the layout, about the area, about the type of item, etc. They are the general consideration about the warehouse. Here, I just want to highlight in a high-tech environment, then what are other considerations? Technology has its cost, so we need to consider about the cost and the benefits, of course, about the cost and the return on investment, and then about how to integrate the technology with the current operations, how to make it smoothly, okay, how to make it run smoothly without any collision and any accidents to the labor, to the workers. Although the warehouse could be automated, but it is automated to some extent, and sometimes we may have manual labor somewhere in the process. And the thing is, we need to have a mind for the safety here. We need to have the key switch, for example, for the equipment here. Whenever they sense that the movement may risk accident, like the AGV may collide with a worker, and it can sense that the worker is nearby, and it can switch off completely, avoid the collision. Or the conveyor could stop if it senses that someone has some kind of problems within the conveyor, and automated packaging could stop when someone touch some dangerous part here, like they touch the needle or they touch the tape, so it can stop completely. Otherwise, the automation here should be separated from manual one, and also to avoid the collision as well. So this thing could move around, this thing could work around, but there are always risks of collision. So we need to consider about that as well. And finally, other risks are still possible, like automated warehouse may consume more energy. Therefore, there is a higher chance of getting an outage, blackout for the warehouse. So we need to have the contingency plan, like a contingent generator in place, and it can switch on or switch off when necessary. Or we may need to switch to manual labor when all systems need to be maintained, for example. So there could be a lot of disruption within an automated warehouse. Therefore, we need to plan accordingly. With this part, you may see in the exam a few questions about what could be the principles for designing an automated warehouse. And the thing is, we need to prioritize the safety and risk management, and also the return on investment here. Okay, again, I appreciate your effort, Doris, and I think that you prepared this question very well, and I think other participants may learn from you. Now, let's move on. The second topic will be about something I think would be a little bit more technical about inventory management, about reorder quantities and reorder levels. I have three questions here. First, please explain how an inventory controller places order in fixed order quantity policy. This one, I need to say that in other study guide, in other textbook, the fixed order quantity is also called an inventory policy. And now I just want to ask you when and how, right? Two questions actually. Explain when and how when and how an inventory controller places order. Okay, here, I mean also how much, how they place the order, how much they should order as well. Second, again, the same question. Explain when and how an inventory controller places the order in a periodic review policy. Okay, so first, the time when they should place the order, and second, how they can calculate the order size. First, when they can place order, and second, how do they decide the order size? The same applied to the previous question as well. And third, please explain. First, tell me what is economic order quantity and its formula. And if possible, please tell me how we come up to such formula. Right. I think that this question will be a little bit more difficult. So I'd like you to spend more time on this. And instead of 5, you have 10 minutes for this question. All right. So I rise the cap here, 10 minutes instead of 5. Now, the time starts counting down.
Okay. The next name that appear randomly is happiness.
All right, happiness. You can unmute now, and please help me to answer these questions. Don't worry, we don't judge your answer. Happiness. You can unmute.
Hi everyone. I'll start with question number 1.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, that says explain when and how an inventory controller places order in a fixed order quantity review policy. The way I understand it, I understand it in a way that if the order is fixed, you need to have a system which is the inventory controller that it will control over the place in the warehouse and place an order based on the stock level. So the inventory system will be actually assisting you to places the fixed orders quantity based on the review policy. So when we say the order is placed, we are saying the inventory controller continuously monitor the stock level as I've indicated. An order is triggered when the inventory position on hand reaches the reorder point. And I think I also understand it when we reorder when actually according to the lead time, when the time has come to reorder for the fixed order quantities, and then we will place an order. So the second part of it was how the order is placed.
Yeah, I just want to ask for the question here, just to clear here. Exactly how much they order, how much the inventory controller order here?
The inventory controller, remember, for the fixed orders is always there's a size, it's always fixed. So it determined actually by the economic order quantities. Maybe I can say the module. So you order based on the sizes that it has been estimated or programmed on the system.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, please continue. Please continue with the second question.
Okay. The second question, or let me start with the third question. It was saying explain how order quantities a formula. So the order quantity formula, which is it's a formula that is used to determine the order size actually, or the optional sizes that minimize the total inventory cost, which include the ordering cost and the holding cost.
Okay.
So yes, according to my understanding is they have seen in the book, they said is EOQ is equal to and 2DS divided by H, which is the D, it's an annual demand and ordering cost per order and the holding cost. So by that formula, you'll be able to see the economic order quantities that you're supposed to use.
Yeah, I think that you have delivered a pretty good answer. And maybe that really just I expect from students. Okay, so initially they may understand like this, but if you want to learn more, just watch how I explain them. First, then I see that you understand how we can use the fixed order quantity. We always have the fixed quantity to order, and we order them when the inventory levels reach a reorder point, right? So just wait for it until the reorder points. Then we can place the order and it bounce back to the original level. Second, with the period review, we just visit the warehouse in periodically. Yeah, we visit the warehouse periodically, like once a week or once a month. Never mind. But we always set an expected level of inventory, and when we check the inventory, we may see that they lack something. It doesn't have the sufficient levels. Then we just place the order for the rest. And then finally, the economic order quantity formula is a little bit complex, but it has its own like origin, and we need to understand the origin. Then the formula could be a little bit more memorable. Yeah, happiness. I just want to ask you one little question. Did you learn derivative in math? Did you learn derivative at high school? You can unmute.
Hi, Daniel, can you repeat your question?
Did you learn derivative, calculus or math at your high school?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so we all know about derivative, right? About calculus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is the origin of economic order quantity. Now, I will explain it in details.
Okay.
First, when it comes to inventory system or inventory management policies for finished product, we already have two major systems. We don't count just-in-time or the push system here because they are for managing the dependent demand. Now, I'm talking about independent demand, where we need to place the order and save them for later use, right? So we have two ways of managing the inventory here. First, fixed order quantity system. So here, every time we place the order, we place a fixed quantity or Q. And we order that when the inventory levels reaches a reorder point or ROP. Okay, that is abbreviation for reorder point, ROP. And second, we have the fixed time period system or periodic review. Here, then inventory is checked in an interval, and the quantity may vary for each order. Now, let's see how fixed order quantity work. So with fixed order quantity, then we may have some kind of like predictable rate of demand or usage. And initially, the inventory is at this level, and then over time, the level may reduce because simply they use it because the manufacturer or other departments use that inventory. And then when it reaches the reorder point, we need to place the order. This reorder point should be equal to the normal rate of demand within the lead time. When you place the order, it should have a lead time, very all the way a lead time. The supplier may need to review that and prepare the order and then send the order to you. So their lead time. and the real point should be equal to at least the constant or normal rate of use within the lead time. So we always have the inventories for any circumstance. And the safety stock here is a buffer because during the lead time there could be a surge in demand and it could be more than what we planned. So the safety stock could be added another buffer level here. So when we place the order, we should place exactly the fixed quantity. Okay, so it bounces back. The level inventory bounce back to the normal level. Okay. To use this system, then we need to check the inventory regularly and on a continual basis. Okay, we need to know at every time, at any time, then how much inventory is left. How much inventory is left within the warehouse. Okay, so we know when it reaches the reorder point. So for fixed order quantity system, it would be more labor intensive. We need to count inventory every time, and we need to track them very closely. For periodic review or fixed time order, then the thing is simpler and less intensive. We can check the inventory after a period, after an interval or every interval. And then we decide that the inventory should be at this level, and then we just place the order for the rest. Okay, so the ordered quantity here equal to the target inventory level minus the inventory level at the moment. Okay, so Q equal to R minus IP. Okay, so we decide how much to order, and this may vary from time to time. Okay, because simply we just expect to reach a certain target level, so we just order the rest when we remove something that has been used. So for period review, it is less intensive, and for less important items, you can apply this and you can check them on a wider interval, like for type C within ABC analysis items. Then we can apply like checking once every month because they are not very important. And we just check whether we have sufficient of those inventory and whether we should place the order now. However, with periodic review, we could not optimize the order. We could not optimize the order quantity simply because the order quantity is different every time. So we just place the order for the rest for the insufficient. So it could be quite not economic here, and sometimes we need to place very small order, like just a few items, and it doesn't worth the delivery cost, for example. And finally, let's talk about the economic order quantity. Actually, economic order quantity is a number that we can order to reach the lowest total cost in a fixed order quantity system. So to use this, then we need to have a few assumptions that rarely match up. First, we have almost constant annual demand, almost constant and predictable annual demand. We have fixed lead time. We have fixed holding costs. We have fixed ordering costs, and we have fixed unit price. Okay, so the total cost here would be equal to the purchase price plus ordering cost and plus holding cost. This is the sum of three elements, right? And now we need to analyze them in better details. So the purchase cost will be equal to the demand times the price, right? D, as I call demand is as D and the price as C. Then the purchase price would be D times C, right? Second, with ordering cost, then the cost here equal to the cost of each time. The cost of each time we order multiplied with the number of orders within a year. So the number of orders within a year would be equal to D divided by Q. D here is annual demand, and the Q here is the quantity we order every time. So it is very understandable, predictable. When we understand that every year we need to take a few orders, like 3 orders, and then for each order we take the total demand divided by 3, then we have the Q, and vice versa. When we want to know how much order we need to place each year, then we take the demand divided by the quantity that we need to place each time. The Q here, or the quantity here, should be the thing that we should find, should be the number we need to find. And finally, the holding cost. Originally, the H here, letter H here, is the holding cost per unit. So at a certain time and throughout the year, then the total holding cost here would be equal to Q divided by 2 multiplied with H. Why we have Q divided by 2 here? You know that there's a number known as average inventory. Average inventory is equal to opening inventory plus closing inventory divided by 2. That is the average inventory between opening and closing. So at the open, we have 0 inventory, and at the end, we have Q inventory, right? So the average inventory here is Q divided by 2. This is a very simplified version, right? So within a period, then our holding cost here would be equal to Q divided by 2 multiplied with H. Simply the holding cost of average inventory for that period. So we have this number, right? So TC, or total cost, is a function of Q, and we can take the derivative, right? We can take the derivative, the first derivative of TC as a function of Q. So when we take the derivative, you know that when we take the derivative, then everything with Q they should have a decrease in the exponential number, right? So first number here, DC, CD constant, and it will be written as 0. Second, we have D on Q multiplied with S. So the Q here, it is in the denominator of Q Q power minus 1. Now, when we take the first derivative, then it will be Q power 2, or Q power minus 2, actually, Q minus 2. In other words, it should be ds divided by Q power 2, Q squared. And finally, with Q divided by 2 multiplied by H, we have 2Q on H. And the Q here, when we take the derivative, it should decrease the power, right? It should have one level of power decrease, right? So when we have Q power 0, we have 1. So it's simply H divided by 2. And now to see this one as minimal, then we should take this derivative as 0, right? And then solve for Q. So this is the equation, right? 0 plus minus ds on Q squared plus H divided by 2 equal to 0. So we solve for Q. Q is within this, and it has a square here. So we have this one. I can show like this. So Q square equal to 2ds divided by h, and simply just take the square root. We have 2ds divided by h, but we have a big square root here, right? So actually, this is just a very simplified version, and the condition for economic order quantity rarely met in the real world. However, it is just an application of derivative where we simplify the equation and we take the minimum number. This could be quite helpful. Actually, you don't need to remember all of these things, and you just need to remember the final equation here. Economic order quantity is only helpful within a fixed order quantity system, and it is not quite helpful in the periodic review. Okay, so this is how we may reconstruct how we have the question, sorry, how we have the formula for economic order quantity. Eventually, it's just applicable within fixed order quantity system. Now, let's move on to the final topic today about the cost and risk of whole life asset management. Also, this is a very small part of the study guide, and they also introduce some notions, some concepts like net present value. Now, please help me to address these two questions. First, analyze or describe how an organization analyze the cash flow throughout the lifetime of a capital asset. Okay, so I may hint that they may use net present value, and I need you to give the details about how they can use net present value or any other analytic tools to analyze the net cash flow of an asset. Okay, and second, also part of the exam about different hidden costs when we purchase a capital asset from overseas. This also help you with L4M7 as well, since L4M7 also has the same question. Now, I think this one would be easier than the previous one. So you have 5 minutes for this. Okay, let me start the time. And the time is cutting down.
Okay, the person who will answer our final questions for event today is Minus.
Minas. Okay, Minas, you got unmute now. All right, just unmute yourself and try to answer these questions. As you can see, today we have very successful participants. Minas, can you unmute? Minas, are you there?
If there's no response from Minus, I will run the random formula again.
Yeah, actually, we don't need to run because we already called Doris, Happiness, and Minas. Now, of course, we only have Jolie. All right, Jolene. Sorry, but
Hi.
yeah.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm not writing M7 in September, but I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I want to write it in November. Please just excuse my voice. I'm sick. Okay. Answering the first question, describing how an organization analyzes cash flow throughout the lifetime of a capital asset. I would first think that they would consider many of the figures and the costs that they use in whole life asset management are future costs, which is based on factual evidence.
Yep.
So it will be the initial investments or the acquisition cost, and then the operating cash flow costs, the discounted cash flow cost, that is the discounting future cash flows to their present value using a discounted rate.
Yes.
And then another type of cost is the net present value. The way that you calculate it is by subtracting the initial investment amount from the present value of the future cash flows.
Okay.
And then look at the return of investment of the asset or of the asset. Okay. I'm not so clued up more with that one. Then on question 2, identify different hidden costs when purchasing a capital asset from overseas. There can be disguised import duties and tariffs, which wasn't looked at, like custom fees and taxes on the imported goods to your country. There can also be shipping and freight costs and insurance costs, which was overlooked.
Okay.
Custom clearance fees. And sometimes people also overlook the commissioning and the installation cost.
Yeah.
And, the loss of productivity, for example, potential losses due to the downtime or the learning curve or the integration issues that they have with the asset that they purchase. So I cannot elaborate more on any other thing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jolie. And I think that I think the first question is harder, but you already highlight the key features of how we can analyze the cash flow of an asset. But I would like to have a little bit more details, and here is my answer. Now, let me switch this slide. Now, when we talk about the whole life asset measurement, we can do in a few ways. We can simply do a math, like do a sum of different costs and benefits throughout the life of the asset. The problem is we can add up the acquisition costs, operating costs, maintenance, and other costs, and also the return. And the underlying costs, we can add up all of them. But that could be quite subjective, and it doesn't consider about the cash flow over the lifetime. And it couldn't detail the annual income or expenses for that asset. So we need to have a better method. This method is known as net present value. And it considers the inflow and outflow of an asset. So to do NPV, we can do that on an Excel table. So for every year, we can list the possible income and expenses for certain assets. Of course, for the first year, we need to have an outlay of capital. We need to pay for the assets and then pay for the installation, pay for the insurance, and so on. And then in the second year, the assets may be operating well, and we may pay very little for maintenance and some for operating costs, but it may return something, well, it may return some benefits or income. It may help you to increase the productivity, or it may help you to generate the income, generate the product that we want. So it all add up. And for each year, we may have a sum of money. We may have a net cash flow for that year. The first year should, normally it is negative. And then the second year, from second year onward, it could be positive. And then everything add up until some years that we can calculate, like the 10th year. So if we use NPV formula within Excel, then it should be very clear how much we have throughout the lifetime of that asset. Like what could be the positive, sorry, whether this asset returns something positive or negative on the asset, whether this asset generate positive or negative cash flow over its lifetime. And the best to even leverage NPV better, you can compare between different alternatives. And also we need to consider about the discount rate. Okay, so discount rate could be some number about free risk rate, like the average bank interest a year, that if we spend our money on that, if we spend our money to have the to get the bank interest, this rate reflect how much money we may have in the future, instead of just spending the money with just these assets. So it should be used as a discount rate. Okay, so we consider about the time value of money. So money in the future has less value, has less purchase power than money in the current moment. Okay, so NPV is very great tool for two things. First, it considers the lifetime cash flow. And second, it considers about the time value for money. And third, we can simply compare different alternatives, just like with the normal way to analyze the total cost of ownership. For the question, for the second questions, with the hidden costs, actually, it expands more than just about tariff. And when we talk about hidden costs, then I'm referring to a concept where we consider about the cost that we have difficulties in estimating or considering when we purchase, right? So there's no way to have a very accurate number of these costs. So we have a few things here, like possibly about tariff and non-tariff barrier. So tariff, actually it is a number, but it varies from product to product. So it also very difficult until we import that, and the custom officer give us a bill. So it is pretty less certain than other car tax. Second, we have non-tariff barrier. They are the technical regulations or other restriction like quota or anything like that. So with non-tariff barrier, we may or may not import something because it violates our country regulations. For example, it has some toxic, it has some toxin within the formula, or our country, the country may prohibit certain type of import, or we must import that item through a specialist company. Right. So that kind of uncertainty add up the cost. So the hidden cost, and we feel like sometimes it is impossible to estimate the accurate cost here. Second, we have the logistic. When we purchase from overseas, then the logistic may also fluctuate. The cost may also fluctuate. It depends on the freight cost. It depends on the risk that the forwarder may face during the transit. Like they could be attacked at the sea, or they could face some storm, and all and some of the goods may be tossed into the sea due to the storm. And then we have the currency exchange, also unpredictable. It may move up or down depending on market. We may have some dispute with the supplier, and they are coming from different countries. So we have the language barrier, we have the legal problem with them, and the execution of or the enforcement of such a contract is also very questionable, since they are far away, and we could not just send them a court order because it is impossible to enforce in their country. So that is another hidden cost as well. Whenever we have problems with the supplier, then we cannot just sue them because it is quite expensive, and also there is a question about the enforcement of the court order in their country. So it is quite much problem. Furthermore, we don't know about their background and whether they may have any problem with the ethical issue. They may use child labor or modern slavery within their supply chain, and that may affect our reputation as well. When we talk about hidden costs, it is about the cost that we cannot ascertain at the time of purchasing, and we can only ascertain when it really comes. And we need to, as procurement, we need to know how much may cost us in these things, and especially when it comes to a foreign supplier. So we need to ascertain these costs by seeking the advice from a third professional party, like the third-party logistic forwarder, or some bank for the currency exchange, or the lawyer and some legal advice from the supply country for further consideration. Okay, we may overcome all of this if we prepare better. Okay, so that's all for today. And I think that for all participants today, we already have very productive session where all of you may also review this. And I think that you deliver these questions very well. So just stay tuned for further equipment events. We also do the same. Unfortunately, as with the previous event, we don't see many participants, but we all want to have the students. So the number of participants is not our concern. We just want you to review and have a chance to demonstrate your knowledge. So if you have any further concern, just visit our website at en.evocument.edu.vn. And our email is evocument@evocument.edu.vn. And also for instant feedback, just text us on WhatsApp. We pleased to see your message. For now, we can end this event here and see you in other occasion. Thank you very much and goodbye.